What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode. So in this exact spot, I was here 12 months ago recording the video about buying this motorcycle after selling my RS34. So we're going to be talking about a lot of different things in this video, such as, is this motorcycle a good motorcycle to ride on a day-to-day basis? What's the cost of ownership? And then, of course, what I love and what I hate about this bike, and would I buy it again? So let's go ahead and jump directly into the reliability of this motorcycle. Has it been reliable? You want the short answer or you want the long answer? I'll give you a little bit of both, but I promise not to make it too long. The short answer is yes, it has been reliable, with a small caveat. Caveat being that they had a recall, which made me very, very upset and very worried in the beginning, but later on, Kawasaki did the right thing, and the recall was pretty much done with. If you're not familiar with the recall by now, you probably live under a rock, or you probably don't have a ZX6R, or you weren't researching it at the time, but now everything is back to normal. Besides that, it's been pretty much bulletproof. Everything on this bike just works. There is a small little thing, and I think this is common amongst all ZX6R owners, is that you see this key ring here? This key ring vibrates. If you have a stock exhaust, you're gonna hear it. It's gonna start buzzing. And whenever you ride the bike for the first time, when you get this thing and it starts buzzing, you can't tell where the sound is coming from because it's not directional. I think for weeks I was just like perplexed about where the hell the sound is coming from. And so in my 1 month review, I posted and I was like, are you guys getting the same problem? And someone pointed out that it's the key thing. This right here vibrates. And even to this day, I still hear the vibration, but now that I have an exhaust, my exhaust is pretty loud and I don't hear it that much. Besides that, I mean, quite honestly, I really haven't found anything about this bike that was a cause of concern besides that little buzzing sound, which is a source of annoyment, but really, it doesn't really bother you. I mean, most people who buy this bike are probably going to slap on an exhaust, and when you do, you'll never ever hear it. And then, as far as the recall is concerned, I was in and out in one day, got the bike back, and I've been riding it ever since with zero issues at all. And they also gave me an extended warranty for another year. So considering that it's been 12 months, my current warranty ends and the new one begins, which extends me out for another year. So in a way, to be honest with you, I'm kind of happy that there was a recall, because now I get an extended year of warranty. Not that I'm going to need it, you know what I mean? It's a Kawasaki. These things don't break down, and it's very rare for what happened to have happened. But now that it has, I'm really glad that I have that extra warranty, and that's good peace of mind for me. Now let's go ahead and segue over to how this bike performs on a day-to-day basis. Because I don't really ride this bike to commute with, I just ride it for fun. And at the moment, I have 2,864 smiles on it. Not miles, but smiles. But anyway, every one of these miles has been an absolute joy. I absolutely love this bike. And for someone who wants to buy this bike to commute with, I mean, you can do it, but it's not a commuter bike, guys. Especially if you put an exhaust on this thing. If it's going to be 110 decibels, 108 decibels when you're riding on the highway, I don't know how you can do that long-term, day in and day out. But yeah, you can add like an exhaust like I had before, you know, like the Leo Vence one. That's the bigger one, not like the mini one that I have now. The mini one I have now is perfect for a hooligan like me. You know, you want to make a lot of noise, you want to have fun, you only ride this bike once a week, totally okay to put a hooligan pipe on like I did. But to live with this thing day in and day out with a hooligan pipe like the one I have now, I don't know if it's gonna work out, guys. Look at this. What the hell? That's a huge tree. Dude had a huge tree in the back of his pickup truck. That's a first. I've never seen that before. But anyway, in case you're concerned about the aggressiveness of it for daily riding, yeah, it's an aggressive bike. It's a sport bike. This bike is meant to be on a racetrack. What the hell am I doing with it on the street? But it's not like super aggressive. This is one of those low-key, semi-aggressive motorcycles that's meant for the track, but 99.9% of people who buy it just ride it like I do on the street, and that's totally fine. So if you go on Facebook Marketplace and you just type up ZX6R, you're gonna see a ton of these bikes, like 2 years old, 3 years old, that have like 12, 15, even sometimes 20,000 miles. So there are people out there who are using this as a daily rider. Totally doable. It's got enough power for the street. You could do some dank wheelies with it. It's not limited by all this electronic nonsense that a lot of these new bikes have. And all around, it's a great bike. It doesn't break the bank. It's super reliable, as I told you before. And it just looks absolutely sensational. And it just sounds absolutely amazing. There are a lot of great things I could say about this bike. I mean, obviously, I'm kind of biased because I own one, right? But I've also owned, like, what, 15 different types of bikes since my riding journey started 6 years ago. So I only buy the best, guys. You know, like, I'm one of those guys that only buy AAA titles on my PS5. I will never buy something that is not a AAA title. Why waste my money on something mediocre when there's like so much cool shit happening? You know what I mean? Like Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out, AAA title. Then you have Red Dead Redemption 2, another AAA title. A lot of mediocre games these days don't even compare to those two games. And it's the same thing with bikes. Like, if I'm going to buy a bike, I'm going to buy a AAA bike, right? Like, the Kawasaki ZX6R is a AAA bike, and then you have mediocre shit out there. I'm not going to call out names, but there are a whole bunch. I don't want to offend anybody, because I know people get offended by, you know, strong opinions, and trust me, I have plenty of those. But anyway, I consider the ZX6R a AAA type of bike, and hopefully you guys get that example. Anyway, beautiful day. Check it out. Gorgeous. And the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is the cost of ownership. Now, as far as the cost of ownership of this bike, how much does it cost me since I own it? Well, if I really had to think hard for an entire year, the only thing that I pay for at the moment is insurance. I did the first oil change at 300-400 miles, and then came the recall, and then they did the oil change for me. So I haven't spent any money. As far as the exhausts are concerned, these were sent to me by Leo Vence. And speaking of exhaust, I have another exhaust that I haven't installed yet, and I have to do the ECU. I have to send that off. Been super busy, guys. I'm sorry I haven't had any updates with this bike. But yeah, as far as like cost of ownership, it's just been mainly insurance, and insurance for me is about $500 or $600 every. I'd have to check. I'll post a screenshot so this way you guys can see. And I only have liability insurance. I don't have full insurance on this bike. So as far as the cost of ownership, that's what it cost me. As far as gas, this bike is absolutely amazing on gas. It'll do about 50 miles per gallon when you're just, you know, riding it in the city and you're babying it. But I don't do that. I don't ride that way. So 36.4 mpg is my average. But anyway, great bike. Cost of ownership, very little. And if you're on the fence about getting this bike and you're worried about Ducati cost of ownership or European cost of ownership, or going to the dealer and pretty much getting ripped off by those higher end European companies, that's not something that you're going to be doing with this bike. And as far as tires are concerned, same original set of tires that I had on this bike since I bought it. So, what do I love and what do I hate about this bike? What should we talk about first? Alright, let's talk about what I hate about this bike. The thing I hated about this bike was the lack of wind protection, and I replaced that with this Pug windscreen. And by the way, my entire mod list up to date is down in the description below in case you want to check stuff out. I'm trying to really think hard. Really think hard. And there's absolutely nothing that is just obvious for me to hate about this bike. It doesn't have an IMU system. It doesn't have electronics. Those are the first couple things that I usually hate on a brand new bike, or love. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this is cool that it's got this, but then I ride something like this bike and I'm like, thank God it doesn't have electronics. Thank God it doesn't have nannies. It's got an ABS system. Okay, that's about it. Oh wait, no, it's got traction control. Okay, so TC and ABS is all that's protecting me with this bike. Let me set the record straight. An IMU system is not designed for safety. An IMU system is designed so you can go fast on a racetrack while you're doing excess speeds around a turn. And now that I finished everything that I hate about the bike, which is pretty much nothing, just this windscreen which I replaced, the thing I love about the bike is that it doesn't have an IMU system. So glad. that this bike does not have electronics. When you include things like an IMU system, yeah, they're cool, you know, like if you go really fast and your front wheel lifts up and the IMU is there to step in and keep the wheel on the ground. But fortunately, this one doesn't, because sometimes whenever I give the bike the beans and I do a quick launch from a red light or anywhere for that matter, the front wheel does come up, and it just adds to the excitement, you know what I mean? It's only like, it only comes up like maybe 2 to 5 inches at most, but I like that. It makes it a lot more fun. It makes it a lot more engaging. It makes it a lot more exciting. And with these bikes that have IMUs these days, that kind of stuff is not possible, and I'm not even sure if you can turn that stuff off. Besides its smashing looks, the way the inline-4 engine sounds, I mean, yeah, I mean, I can go on and on and on and make a separate video about all the things that I love about the bike. I mean, I bought it for a reason, right? It's an inline-4. It's one of those classic motorcycles with classic inline-4 sounds and feelings and no electronic gizmos and all that other jazz that a lot of these new bikes have. This is why I bought it. This is why people were shocked whenever I sold my RC4 and got a ZX6R 600. Like, dude, why are you doing that? People just don't understand, and I'm not going to try to convince anybody. God forbid if something does happen to this bike, I'll buy it once again. These type of bikes are a dying breed, my friends. The inline-4 engines, they're great bikes, but now you got new bikes like the KTM something. It's like a 900cc. They call it middleweight, but it's 900cc. That's crazy, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, that's about $13,000. That's another option if you're interested. But if you're interested in getting, like, you know, something like what I have here, an inline-4 engine, an old school platform, just, you know, with brand new plastics for 2024, 2025 and up. And you're not looking for something modern, but you're looking for something that doesn't have electronics. It just sounds absolutely amazing. Cost of ownership is low, like I mentioned. Well, insurance might differ for you. These 600s have high insurance costs because too many squids buy them and wreck them and hurt themselves. So yeah. Anyway, I definitely recommend you buy this bike. It's an amazing bike. It's very, very, very reliable. The only negative thing that I experienced was that recall. That recall was finished in a single day. Now I ride the bike with complete confidence, knowing that I have an additional year of warranty just in case something ever does happen. And I guarantee you that if between now and however long I own this bike, I go back to my dealership and I was like, hey, I'm one of those guys that you did a recall on, but this engine just failed out of nowhere. I was wondering if there's anything you can do about it. Guarantee you that they'll contact Kawasaki, and Kawasaki is going to do the right thing and replace this engine. That's just speculation, but my dealership told me flat out. They were like, in the future, if something does happen to this bike, even if it's out of warranty, Kawasaki is known to do the right thing. They're a major corporation. It's not like they're a small boutique brand out of Italy, and they're cutting costs everywhere that they can. This is a gigantic company with a lot on the line. So I'm sure they'll do the right thing for not only for me, but also for you. So yeah, I highly recommend it. Get a 24-25 if you're looking to save a little bit of money. Otherwise, go for the 26 if you're looking for the brand new colorways. But Kawasaki green for life, my friends. And until the next one, I'll see you guys later. Peace.